How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid, which had a pullback on the Friday and now has resistance right at $20. And of course, many are asking that question, what do I see for this coming week? We'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we're going to be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $19.11, being down 2.25%. On the low, it tested $18.91, and then on the high, testing $20. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we trade at 22.324 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 19.846 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, but you could see we had a pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 33.30. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that Lucid is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages and continuing its downtrend. So if you guys remember what I was saying in the previous video, it was very key for us to have some strength so we can make a move going to at least $22. That did not happen. We see continued weakness in the market, and as this sell-off continues, we ended up seeing a low of $18.91. So going into the coming week, don't be surprised if we have a further pullback and we see Lucid getting down to $18.25. That would be a level to keep an eye on. And if it breaks through $18.25, then the next area where I'd want to see support hold up would be right here around $17.50. And if it broke through $17.50, that's where we start testing around $16. So that's definitely something you want to keep an eye on if you're looking at Lucid as a long-term investment. But of course, do your homework, your due diligence. If you want to see a bullish move to the upside, we ended up seeing some resistance on the Friday right at $20. So you could see right away, Lucid needs to make that move going back to $22. That would be essential. And if it can make that move to 22, and after making that move, you'd want to see a natural progression going to the 21-day EMA at 22.29, which is only off by like 29 cents. And then you'd want to see it reclaim the 50-day and see if it can go back to that $25 level where it has proven that support has been in the past. Of course, I'm not seeing that, but hey, if it can make its way back to the 21-day EMA at 22.29 for the coming week, that's not a bad look either for the week after. Now, let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings here, we have Bogart Wealth LLC for the 22nd that purchased 100 shares. And as far as recent changes that have been happening for the 22nd, we could see like 3 positions where institutions have a value change. We have Equitic Proprietary Markets that reduced their position by 95.59%. And then we also have Louisiana State Employees Retirement System that reduced their position by 44.70%. And we also have Allworth Financial LP that reduced their position by 19.74% as well. And then we could see an increased position here right from UMB Bank that has 6.76%. So what we could see clearly, yes, institutions have been buying in, but we also do see positions positions being reduced. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 63.91%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 5.09 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.1 million, updated 9 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 2.86%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 21st, it was at 65.12, and then for the close of the 22nd, being at 63.91. So what does this show us? And along with the short interest percentage of the float being at 18.70%, Lucid does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflow, it is at 66.70 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 75.59 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 38.44, and then on the small, it was 28.26. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 3.07. On the medium, it was 47.94, and then on the small, it is 24.58. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for the 22nd, so the Friday that just passed, we had a negative outflow of 3.07 million. And then for the 21st, we had a big inflow of 9.25 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the largest represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, continues to be a consistent range at 1.35%. So what is clear? We're seeing that there's a lot of selling pressure going down inside of these markets, and it hasn't slowed down as of yet. So that's why we see, as far as on the retail side, there is some selling, but we do have many who are buying in. So that's one thing you want to be aware of as well. Let's go on to the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, when it comes to the price action, like I said in the beginning of the video, on the Friday, we had resistance at $20.01. And this is not a good sign whatsoever. We are continuing to form lower lows, and we're making lower highs as well. So if we continue to have weakness inside of these markets, remember, we have to be clear, there has been no sign of a reversal as of yet. So we just can't assume that markets are going to pump up for this coming week, even though it could happen. But what we want to look at as far as for the downside is seeing support hold at $18. If it breaks through $18, then there's a possibility that Lucid can get down to $16.10. And I know there's going to be a lot of people on the sideline wanting to buy that stock at that price. Of course, I can be wrong, and it could continue to pull back, but I would say that would be quite the dip, and retail, I feel, would want to buy in and take advantage of Lucid at that price. But of course, if you're thinking about doing this, make sure that you are doing your homework and your due diligence before you take an investment. As far as for the upside, if you want to see a turnaround for this coming week, then Lucid needs to get back to the 21-day EMA, which is around $22.29. Upon reclaiming this level, we know it needs to make that move going to 25, and then I can say, you know what, Lucid is looking really strong. We got some demand, there's some buying, then we could look forward to more moves. But as far as for this coming week, I am not seeing that. But if it does get to $22, I feel that would be an accomplishment as well. So this is why, if you are a trader, keep an eye on these levels to the downside and as well as for the upside, and come up with a game plan that is right for you. If you are an investor, I would continue to have some patience. Wait for the market to actually find a bottom where you can see some stabilization at. Or if you feel like you have a lot of high conviction and you don't mind buying Lucid at its price, and you are willing to buy more if the stock does decide to pull back, then by all means, do what feels best for you. I can't give you guys financial advice, so I want to make sure I'm clear about that. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see institutions have been buying up some shares, but we also see there's a good amount who are reducing their positions as well. And then when we took a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential, and it's why you want to keep an eye on this play, especially if we have a catalyst, or if the market decides to turn around, Lucid can make a big move to the upside. We already know that it's in the NASDAQ 100, so we know if tech picks back up, Lucid should follow. And as far as for the market conditions, it's going to be interesting for this coming week. We had Jerome Powell that literally scared us when he said, you know what, 50 basis point hike is on the table. The market has reacted. There is no sign whatsoever that the selling will stop. So if the selling
selling does continue, many stocks are going to pull back. But we also have to understand the fact that Fed meeting is going to be in the beginning of May. And if he decides to say, well, you know what, I am going to be sticking with an increase of 50 basis points, I could see a market rally because it's already priced in. So that is why I say doing your homework and as well as your due diligence and also looking for information that is non-biased can help you go a long way in regards to making gains inside of the market and really understanding what is going on. So I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll be talking real soon. And I also can't wait to see how Lucid performs for the coming week. We'll talk soon.